Well, hello there, everyone. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It's great to be with you on Inspirations for Your Life. Today, it is Friday. It's May 8th. And that means we're at the end of our master topic, but not to worry because we have a brand new master topic tomorrow, which we will get you. We start our weeks on Saturday and we end on Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your very first time with me, I want to take the opportunity to say thank you and I want to say welcome. If you've been here before, one time or many times, I want to take the opportunity to say thank you. But of course, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back and enjoying the great show that we have here for you. If you guys are thirsty, if you're hungry, feel free to go grab that. I've got some juice here right now, and come on back to the show. If you have not checked out believemeachieve.com, we'll do that after the show is over. You can incidentally do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. All right, so let's get started, okay, everyone? All right, so we got a great show here, and this wraps up another amazing week that I can't wait to share with you guys. So this is Inspirations for Your Life. This is Series 5, means we're in our 5th year. We've completed 4 years and 1, 2, 3, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, not 5, really 4. So 4 years and 4 months have been completed to date and a little more. So this is Series 5, Show 19, Episode number 7. When direction fully rebuilds, that's what this whole thing is about here. When the direction fully rebuilds. And I think that's something that a lot of people, when we hear that term, we don't really know what it means, but it means something pretty interesting. It means that there is potential in our lives to go further places. That's what it means. All right. I think a lot of people miss that point, but it's important to know that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I'm also engineer, marketing specialist, video producer. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and I am a podcast host and a coach, keynote speaker, graduate student, passionate lifelong learner, and now grateful to be a published author. And welcome, everyone. Welcome. So, besides welcoming you, it's important to know that the show is here to help you become a better version of yourself. This is the time, ladies and gentlemen, where life stops breaking and it starts stabilizing. And that can be scary for some people. Not temporary recovery, but permanent alignment to your core values. I found that when you align with your core values, life seems to be easier. I don't want to say easy, but easier. Direction becomes intentional, number one, and no longer reactive. You stop reacting to situations as they happen, and decisions begin coming from clarity instead of emotion. And this creates long term stability in how you move forward. And I think a lot of people, when we hear this, it's like, I don't know, I don't really believe that. But when you believe something, guys, it actually starts to work. Right? I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. Number two, identity stabilizes through repetition. And you begin to see yourself through consistent action. Repetition removes confusion about who you are becoming. Identity strengthens through daily behavior. And I think that's a very important thing to note. Discipline becomes automatic, and you no longer rely on motivation. Structure begins guiding your behavior naturally. Discipline becomes built into your routine. Number four, systems begin supporting structure again, and your routines stop breaking down, and systems begin reinforcing your progress instead of disrupting it. Life becomes more predictable. Number five, focus becomes natural. You stop forcing attention. Clarity reduces distraction automatically. Focus begins holding itself in place. Okay. Execution becomes consistent and you stop delaying the action that you've been wanting to take. You follow through and that becomes your default response. And the execution becomes stable and reliable. And guess what? You keep doing things over and over again, and you keep getting closer to your goals. I think when a lot of people hear the concept of this, they get a little bit scared. And it's not that they should get scared, it's that they get scared because they don't know what it means, right? What it means to them at the current juncture, what it means going forward. Um, it's fear for a lot of people. It's false evidence appearing real. I said before that people love staying warm and comfortable or cold and comfortable, but they don't like things that are uncomfortable. They don't like things that are, going to be uneasy for them. They just don't like that. Number 7, momentum becomes controlled, okay? And progress is no longer, ladies and gentlemen, random anymore. You have a set system. I think that's important. You begin building steady movement over time. And momentum stops collapsing under pressure. Pressure sometimes can cause hiccups in people's lives because they're not ready for what it's throwing at you. Number 8, growth becomes predictable. And you start recognizing patterns in your results. Outcomes become repeatable instead of uncertain. Growth becomes structured. Number 9, habits define outcomes. And what you repeat daily shapes your future. Small actions begin determining long-term results, and habits begin to become the foundation of your known success. But many people along that pathway say, you know what, John, I don't know if I can do this. And they play this game of questioning. And then they basically talk themselves out of what they were doing. I think that's an important thing to realize, is not to talk yourself out, because, you're already on the path, right? The path to basically being victorious, but then somebody said something, or maybe you had a doubt, and now that doubt starts to unravel the little bit of good that you've done. And then it gets worse. Number 10, structure defines life. Your day becomes organized through systems. You stop relying on urgency or emotion. And structure takes on a whole new decision-making process. I think that's important to know. Number 11, guys, confidence stabilizes through clarity. Clarity removes hesitation in your thinking, okay? You begin trusting your decisions more. Confidence becomes steady instead of emotional, okay? Number 12, awareness becomes constant, and you begin noticing patterns in your behavior. You stop reacting blindly to situations. Awareness becomes active, and it's ongoing. It's ongoing. So now what was hidden is no longer hidden anymore. Okay? It's no longer hidden anymore. I think that's an important thing to realize. It's no longer hidden anymore. Number 13, guys, behavior becomes aligned, and your actions start matching your intentions. Internal conflict begins to disappear, and behavior becomes consistent with goals. We achieve a goal, it's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And we feel so good inside. And then it's like, it happens again. We're like, oh, this is great, right? And then you start realizing things are a little bit easier. They're a little bit lighter. I don't want to say they're completely effortless, but they require a lot less effort. And you start to believe that you can do things. You start to understand patterns. You start to understand life. You start to realize this game that we're playing here, you can actually win at. I don't know about you, but when you can win at something, you want to keep playing. Most of the time, people in life are playing, but they don't know if they're going to win. They don't know if they're going to lose. So they're not enjoying the game very much. But when you stack the odds and know that you can win, oh my gosh, that changes the whole meaning. It changes the whole mood. Number 14, guys, thinking becomes clear and mental noise fades out. Your thoughts become structured and simplified. You begin thinking with direction. With direction. You don't just think for today, but you think, I'm going to say, in a way called intentional. Intentional thinking means that you're aligned with your core values. You're aligned with your core values. You're aligned with your core values. I think that's an important piece to understand. They're aligned with core values. And the values allow you to move forward. But when you first hear it or see it or get a comprehension of it, you're like, wait a minute. Is this going to work? Is this going to help me? Is this going to hurt me? And that's the ego of yours trying to say that this isn't possible. Trying to be, let's say, a cynist, unfortunately. Number 15, guys. Decisions become stronger. You stop second guessing yourself, and clarity speeds up decision making. Choices become more confident, and they become more stable. Energy becomes balanced, and you stop operating in extremes. Energy becomes steady and sustainable. Output becomes more controlled. Number 17, stability becomes lifestyle. Structure is no longer temporary. It becomes your normal way of operating, your way of life. It's second nature to you. Stability becomes part of your identity. And you wonder why you never had it before. So somebody that doesn't have structure will operate from one premise, but then when they get structure, it's like, oh my gosh, how did I ever live without structure? Some people are resistant to structure in the beginning because they think structure is going to harm them, but structure is actually going to help them, and structure is going to give you more freedom. You heard me right. You structure a certain part of your life, you get freedom in others, and you get a lot of freedom. Okay. Number 18, progress becomes permanent, and you stop resetting after the setbacks. After the setbacks, you stop resetting. Movement continues forward consistently. Progress becomes ongoing. I think the reason why some people don't want to start they're not sure if they can keep it going. They're not sure if they can handle it. They're not sure of what tomorrow will be like. And so what people tend to do when there's going to be change like this, they push back. They make excuses. It's too hard. I don't understand it. Our old way is much better. They make excuses to try to justify why they don't want to change, which is all baloney. The reason they don't want to change is because they're afraid that it could be different. They're afraid that it might be, well, a little uncomfortable. And I said before, success breeds in uncomfortability. So we had to practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Let me say that again. We have to practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And when we practice that enough times, getting comfortable being uncomfortable, we start to realize that it's a shift, it's a pivot in our life, right? It's a big pivot. And it becomes subtle at first. But then we're like, wait a minute, this has changed me quite a bit. It's changed me quite a bit. And that change starts to, let's say, percolate through the group, the community. And when this happens, people ask questions. Why are we changing? This change isn't good. And people are trying to fight it like day one. They don't even give it a try. You ever had somebody you say, I want to share something. Oh, I have my way. I'll listen to you, but I have my way. So you start explaining to them, and then they're immediately like, well, this is how we do it. And they're already trying to like give you a hard time. And really, they've told you they want to change, but they're not gonna change. They're thick-headed, thick-skulled. Number 19, guys, control becomes internal. External chaos no longer drives your emotion. Let me say that again. Control becomes internal, and external chaos no longer drives your emotions. So we can get two kinds of chaos. We can get chaos in our mind, and we can get chaos in our life externally. The chaos that's externally, we can't control, but what we can do is choose whether we associate or disassociate with it. John, what does that mean? Great question. When we choose to associate with somebody, person, place, thing, we're going to find that it controls us. When we disassociate with something, we notice immediately that it's lost any bit of control over us. That scares people. But did you know you had that power? If you just were able to just concentrate on something that you like, it gets easier. If you concentrate on something or you focus on something and you become part of it, like a friend or somebody you're with, a relationship, but maybe that relationship is going south, you need to disassociate with it. By you doing that, your emotional bonds are released. And now your body's not controlled like a puppet or a marionette. You're free as a bird. But a lot of times people don't want to become free because now they're on their own and they're afraid. You remain steady, guys, regardless of the conditions. Control becomes self-based. And when control becomes self-based, we self-regulate. You know, a lot of people in business don't like being in business for themselves. You know why? Because they don't know how to regulate themselves. They don't know how to regulate. And although that can be confusing, it's absolutely the darn truth. Somebody who's been with a company for many years is probably not going to run their own business unless they are very disciplined. If they're not, every time they start, they're going to falter. They're going to fail. Not that I want them to, but they're going to fail. And by them failing, they're going to believe that they're worthless. They're going to believe that they can't contribute to themselves or to society. And so they figure the best thing to do is to just give up. But ladies and gentlemen, that's frustration talking. That's not your true potential. When the direction fully rebuilds, we get a second wave of hope. A second wave of hope. Hope to be able to grow to understand. Number 20, guys, fear becomes minimal. Uncertainty loses influence. Clarity replaces doubt. We've said that before, and hesitation. So clarity replaces doubt and hesitation. Fear no longer controls decisions anymore. How do you do that? You disassociate with something. Number 21, clarity becomes identity. How you think becomes consistent across all situations. Clarity becomes who you are. Identity stabilizes through understanding. So the more that we understand something, the more that we learn about something, that's why I always tell people, if you can't learn something, maybe you need to overlearn. If you overlearn, you'll appreciate, but then you'll learn what you need to learn. Number 22, action becomes automatic and you stop overthinking before you execute. It's kind of like, you're making, let's say you're making a flan, or you're making, let's say a type of saute, and you beat the eggs too much. Well, it's a disaster, right? They're either under beaten or they're overbeaten. And if you don't have the right consistency, the right texture, it just is terrible. Action, ladies and gentlemen, becomes your natural response, and execution becomes immediate. Your system develops this response system. It's very similar to if you ever been by the stove and maybe it was very hot and you almost burn yourself and you're like you quick pull the hand away like that, right? That's a reflex because you know it's hot and you know that by you pulling away, you're going to protect yourself. Number 23, guys. Results reinforce success and outcomes begin confirming your system works. Success patterns strengthen over time, and feedback becomes positive reinforcement. The more that we get positive reinforcement, the more it goes into a loop, the more it gets stronger. The best way to think about this, so I don't know if any of you have a pool. So we have a pool, and I like doing the spa a lot. So the water starts in the spa at one temperature, okay? Then the water circulates, goes through the heating pipes again, the exchanging pipes, gets warmer again, and it goes up a few degrees, right? So that's what's happening. It's coming back into a cycle, and then it's getting boosted. That's what's happening to you. You're doing it with energy. We're doing it with temperature, but you're doing it with actual energy in your body. And how about you? But when your body gets this dose, it's like, oh my gosh, I can do anything. Number 24, discipline defines the character. Consistency becomes who you are. Not something you try, but something you are. When I believe I am that. Character becomes structured. When character becomes structured, it's like, oh, I think I can make this work. Number 25, guys. Direction locks in. You stop drifting between choices. Right? Can't make that decision. Your path becomes stable and it's very clear. Direction becomes fixed and intentional. Number 26, growth compounds naturally. Each action builds on the last. Progress begins accelerating over time. Growth becomes exponential in structure. It doesn't happen if there's no structure. If you have a spa or a pool and you're trying to heat the water and suddenly the burner goes out, well, there's no way of getting the water hot anymore. It passes through the pipes and maybe it stays a little warm, but what happens is that temperature eventually will deplete, will drop because the pipes are going to get cold. Now, not right away, but the pipes will get cold eventually. And when they do, the water will start to get cold. So systems, ladies and gentlemen, number 27, hold everything together, and the structure becomes the foundation of stability. The more that we're stable, the more confident we're going to become. And when we're confident and we get through something easily, it's like, oh, I can do this. Yes, you can. Chaos gets reduced, guys. So when we have this integrity, when we have this structure, the chaos just sort of disappears. When there's confusion, you need to have a resolution. Otherwise, you're either going to stay where you are or you're going to go backwards. Number 28, identity fully stabilizes, and you are no longer shifting versions of yourself. You become consistent and aligned. Identity becomes steady. Life becomes structured. Chaos is replaced with predictable systems. Number 29. Daily life becomes organized. And here's the word, guys, my favorite word, intentional. And guess what? When you become intentional, when you become direct, when you operate on your core values, stability inevitably becomes the default. Stability inevitably becomes the default. Number 30, guys, rebuild, and it becomes complete. You're no longer recovering from disruption. You're operating in full alignment. Transformation becomes permanent. Yeah, becomes permanent. I think that's important to know. I think when we can have these kind of moments, we can really change things. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not motivation. This is alignment. Motivation's part of it, but we have to be aligned so we can stay on the track. When structure returns, only then will life return. Only then. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Be sure to check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, of course, inspiring creations. Have a great one, and I will catch you guys tomorrow on another brand new master topic. Take care, everyone. And remember, when the direction fully returns, life becomes easier.